So now that the interior is all nicely detailed and fully assembled, it obviously needed something to sit on, so I started work on the chassis. Just like any other piece, it first needed to be primed and painted. So first of all, I'm going to prime all the parts, and then I'm going to paint them in a couple of various different colors. Some silvers, some yellows, some blacks, some textured black, some gloss black, some flat black, and then later on I will start detailing them with a brush and some other paints. For the main chassis piece, I decided to paint it in the new textured black from Zero Paints to simulate a sort of undercoated chassis. And with that all finished, it now obviously needed some detailing as well. Now the exhaust is partially molded in along with the engine and transmission, or at least what is there is molded into the chassis. So instead of leaving it all black, I took out a brush, some Vallejo paints, and went to town on that. As you could see at the beginning of the video, I painted the calipers with some Ferrari yellow with the airbrush, and now the discs also needed some attention, so I took out some of the silver paints that I was using on the chassis and painted those as well. Now for the springs, I decided to take out my permanent orange marker and try to make that look realistic, or a bit different at least. I think it kind of worked. Maybe the color was not completely correct, but now I know at least that an orange marker, a red marker, or a blue marker will work on springs and make it a lot easier to detail this all. So with all of these parts now partially detailed and pretty much ready, I started assembly on the chassis, just gluing everything together with some Bob Smith Industries super glue. With that now all put together, it looked a bit too clean, so I just took out some Panaline accent color from Tamiya and went all over the place with it, made it a bit sloppy, some oil leaks or some spills, some stains, and at least give it a lot of shading all around to make it look and not as clean as that it actually was. During the unboxing video, I mentioned that this will not be a race car, and I will not be using the wheels that came with the kit. I will be using some aftermarket wheels from Scale Productions, some BBS versions with some threaded profile tires, and in order to fit those I needed to adjust it a bit when mounting it, so I just needed to cut off the tab where the brake disc mounts to the hub from the spring, and then I could glue it in place with the brake disc that I will need to modify as well. Now the wheels that came with the kit were some male fitment wheels, and the wheels that I decided to use were some female fitment wheels. So what I did is I enlarged the hole that was in the disc brake so I could fit that female fitment around or in the disc brake like the male fitment would have done. But now when I removed the tab, it fits in nicely with the offset, and I can play around a bit more with the height of the entire build. So the ride height is now pretty much all the way adjustable, and the disc brake fits around the wheel and the wheel fits inside the wheel well. So I could finish up the disc brakes with detailing them and adding the photo etch parts, and then I could assemble the rest. Some of the pieces that came with the photo etch kit were obviously for the disc brakes, so I took out some super glue, squirted some on a piece of masking tape, and then took out a toothpick to use a tiny amount on the specific areas where the disc brake would be glued to and not use too much. So that all glued together, and that pretty much finished off the chassis for now, as I will be fitting the wheels and discs later on when doing the final assembly to determine the final ride height of this model. Now with that all said and done, the interior was finished in the last episode and the chassis was finished right here, so that could be glued together, and then I could move on to start the first details for the body pieces. So the first couple of pieces I wanted to start on for the body were some of the clear parts. Now I kind of want to get these out of the way as fast as I can, so I give the paint enough time to cure and not ruin them while putting them together with the body. Right after cutting them out of the sprue, giving them a slight cleanup and doing a quick test fit in the body to see some problem areas, which were not really there, so just a bit of sanding around the edges and they fit perfectly well. After that was all done, I could move on to masking it off, setting the edge, and then taking out a pencil to mark it and know where to cut it out, create the mask, and then paint the edges black. With the masking now done on all the insides of these windows, I could apply the first light coat of black, let it dry for about 15 minutes, and apply the second coat and finish this side off. After this side was fully done, I needed to switch this around to do the other side, as the window rubbers are not molded into the body with this kit, they are molded into the clear parts. So this done, move out to the other side, that done, and move on to the next piece.